Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Shenandoah County Library's Truban Archives. I'm archivist Zachary Hoddle. I'd like to thank you for joining us in the third in our series of programs for National Archives Month, talking about the archives, what we do, and all the questions that you have for us. Today, we're going to focus on the role of the Truban Archives in the community and the ways that we help support the community, but also how the community helps build us. Now, it's really important for us to have strong connections with the community. So I hope that you'll be able to learn some about what we do to really be a part of what is Shenandoah County as part of this program. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and bring up a quick PowerPoint that I'm going to use to talk about how we interact with the community and how it helps build us. So the mission of the Shenandoah County Library's Truban Archives is to collect, preserve, and share the history of Shenandoah County. Collecting involves a lot of different things and a lot of different types of materials that we use to build our collection here. Our collection in the archives contains books, documents, photographs, pamphlets, journals, letters, really anything you can think of that has historic value. So what does that mean that has historic value? That's things that in the future may be useful to communities to help understand what's going on now or what happened in the past in our area. So one of the big things that we do here at the archives is work to determine what items actually have historic value, because not everything that's old is worthwhile keeping for future researchers. So we put a lot of time into determining what will have historic value and therefore what should be retained in the archival collection. The only thing that we don't keep here, or type of material that we don't keep here, are physical items. So anything like a piece of pottery or like a railroad tie or a hat or something would not be part of the archival collection. But anything else really that you maybe can think of that has some type of historic value would be retained here and is available to the public. These things come from personal papers. So really what you hold on to at your house or what people in the past have held on to, letters, bills, schedules, ephemera that you collect from different organizations, business items. So we retain the collections of several businesses that existed in Shenandoah County, ranging from general stores to iron furnaces. Church records, sometimes in part, sometimes church history, sometimes in full. There are several churches that we hold almost their entire collection of historic items related to their congregations. Community organizations, some that are still in existence, transfer their items to us on a regular basis. Some that have no longer been in existence, we hold their entire collection. So that's minute books, record books, scrapbooks, photographs of events, really anything that you could think of related to some type of organization in our community. We work very hard and are committed to having a diversity of items that reflect a diversity of backgrounds here in the community. So we want items that are related to everybody who called Shenandoah County home. So that means people from all geographic areas, all economic backgrounds, all ethnicities, people who were here for just a short period or for a longer period, people who have been here for 300, their families have been here for 300 years, or the families have been here for 3 years. We want items that help tell all of their stories because we know that they're part of the history of our community. And in order to do that, in order to meet all these needs related to collection, we do what's called active collecting. So we rely primarily on donations of materials in order to build our collection. But we work very hard to reach out to individuals and organizations and the community to actively bring in new materials. So, like for example, we work with the local school system to get donations of new yearbooks as they're produced by the local schools. If we hear of an organization that is having some type of transition, we might reach out to them to see if they'll be willing to donate materials. We are constantly in contact with people who maybe are considering some type of donation to help them understand what we're looking for. So we're very active in our efforts to reach out and try to build the collection so it better represents who we are as a community. So the preservation piece of that is once items are actually donated to the archives or become part of our collection, it's up to us to make sure that they're preserved for future generations. And unfortunately, nothing is going to be preserved forever, but we can extend the life of these items for a long period of time so that they can be used by multiple people in the future. That means things like physical preservation, proper storage. We provide proper storage, proper climate control, a wide variety of things that help keep the items safe and help extend their lifetime. We have proper handling guidelines. So if you, so things that we can do to ensure that the items are properly handled so that they don't get damaged or come up missing either when they're used by staff or when they're used by visitors. We also have pretty strong use guidelines. So things that we have determined need special care when they're used by researchers or that need some type of extra protection. So we have things like security systems here that will detect if you try to take something out of the room by accident or something. We have guidelines that show you what you should do when you use items, restrictions on what can be used. So things like no markers when using items so that you don't accidentally get something on them. There's a whole variety of guidelines that we have in place that are really part of that physical preservation effort. We also worked to preserve contextual information. So a single item without context loses a lot of its meaning or its historic value. So what we try to do is build upon that single item with other information that could be provided either by the donor or by other people in the community. So for example, unidentified photographs, we work very hard to try to collect identifying information related to those through like our digital collection where you can view those and contribute information if you know about them, or even physical items. So if there's a letter that doesn't have like a last name, but someone's able to identify who that person is, that brings in contextual information and helps expand the value of that item for the community. We also work with what I call external preservation. So that's working to make sure that untold stories from our community are retained and are part of our community fabric. So even if things don't come necessarily into our collection, we work very hard with other organization and other individuals to make sure that these untold stories are preserved at least somewhere in our community and are made available to other people. So that's the second part of that is making sure that they're preserved and readily usable by other people in Shenandoah County. And then we also work very hard to preserve the future. So the archives job is not just to focus on what maybe happened 50 years ago or 250 years ago, but instead to focus on what's happening now in our community and ways that we can work to preserve that for future generations, because we know that those stories are going to be very important. So for example, we're currently working very hard to develop ways to preserve digital materials like emails and digital photographs and other items that make sure that they'll be retained for long periods of time and will be useful to researchers sometime in the future. And then sharing that, because even if we would have collections and that they're properly preserved, they're really not any use to anyone if we're not able to share those or make sure that they're publicly accessible. And we're very committed here to make sure that there's research accessibility. So if you want to view something in our collection, we work very hard to make sure that our facility, our hours, and our procedures make it easy for you to come in and take a look at items and learn about things that you want to learn about. Part of that is providing access to digital materials online. So we have a digital collection, archives.countylib.org, that you can go to see digital materials from anywhere from Shenandoah County. We have a strong series of programs that are held each year on regularly schedules, events, and other events that happen during special times in our community. And then outreach, making sure that we maintain strong lines of communication with various other organizations and groups in the county so that we can better share our collections when they are needed. And all of that works together, the collection, the preservation, and the sharing, to create a community value. So it works that the archives can really be a part of our community here in Shenandoah County and can really contribute to our lives here in this community. And how does that happen? So there's several ways that that happens. The first is in terms of personal use of our collections. So what do people come into the archives to utilize? They're here to learn about family history. So about 40% of our researchers are here to examine the history of their families or a specific ancestor who maybe lived in our community. And we retain a variety of collections related to that. We also regularly assist people researching history of their property or specific buildings. So if you own a historic structure or you want to learn about the individuals who maybe owned your farm or your town lot or place you live in the past, then we're a place that's set up to be able to assist you with that, to be able to help you collect information and understand who the people that were that maybe built that building or maybe lived on your land. We also work to help people learn about their personal history. So we regularly get researchers who come in to kind of better remember and understand things that happened in their own lives. So for example, individuals who are trying to maybe better understand how a specific event in the county impacted them, or maybe some contextual information that they didn't understand, decades ago in their lives, and they're coming here to better understand that. We also serve as can be called a memory portal. So it's a place where people can come and reconnect with memories of their past. So either individuals that they didn't know, events they may have forgotten about, or sometimes they need just reinforcement. And they're here to see things and kind of relive those memories while they're utilizing our collection. Our collections are also used for educational purposes. So we regularly have people here who are conducting research for some type of book publication, whether that's from some type of academic press or some type of self-published book. We regularly assist individuals who are working on some type of book. People who are working on some type of scholarly article, either for a university or some type of newsletter. That can even be for a national newsletter on something that you may not even think is related to local history or Shenandoah County. We also work with kindergarten classes through high school classes from Shenandoah County Public Schools, having programs and providing outreach materials that assist them. We do things that help kindergartners better understand their sense of place. We help high schoolers better understand some of the maybe tricky parts of our county's history and some of the hidden things that they may not have learned about in order to better expand their understanding of the place that they live in. We also work with a lot of university students, either students who are from this area and are working on some type of university project, or who are attending a local university and want to better, who are conducting some type of research project that relates to Shenandoah County history. And that can really be a wide variety of topics and from a wide variety of institutions. We also assist with community use. The community relies on us to be able to share a lot of the stories and a lot of the information that they need for everyday life. So that could be organizational history, a currently active organization trying to better understand why a decision was made, maybe learn about something that they did in their past that currently is impacting their present. A business that maybe is in the same way. They want to better understand, what type of services they provide, or why they made a certain decision. Even, a decade ago, sometimes those stories become muddled and confused. So they want to understand how some type of event impacted their business. In the past, we've helped with planning and zoning issues because we hold a lot of historic comprehensive plans, a lot of strategic plans for local government, for various organizations, for various community groups and parts of government. So we have assisted in development of some plans and initiatives and things that rely on these historic plans to better understand how we got where we're at. We also work with local tourism agencies, either to try to promote historic stories or utilizing historic images or historic items that can be used to draw in individuals wanting to learn more about our community. So we regularly work with them and individuals who are coming here from other places who are staying overnight and contributing to our community as they learn more about what Shenandoah County has to offer. We assist with events. So some large scale and smaller scale events utilize our collection to either understand or to put on a better event. They might utilize materials in the events. We've assisted with some economic development projects that maybe work to help understand, for example, the history of a certain business or the history of a certain property, maybe how it was used in the past, specific design elements, or even sometimes things like what maybe an environmental hazard might be present there because we're able to identify that a certain type of business existed there. We also assist with art production. So a specific example is several of the Strasbourg murals that have been painted over the past several years. Those artists utilize research and images from our collection as the basis for some of their artwork, and it goes well beyond just those murals. We also work closely with the community to provide support for us in terms of how the community maybe can help us better serve them and really enhance our collections and our ability to tell the stories of the county. And how are some ways that that can be done? So in terms of the support that we look for, the primary one of those is material donations. So individuals in our county have the materials that we need to better tell stories. And if we're able to collect those and make those accessible to the public, then we are able to better tell that story and present a more comprehensive understanding of what Shenandoah County is and what our life here is like. So we encourage you or an organization that you're a part of or a business or really anything in Shenandoah County, if you have some type of records, if you have personal papers, historic photographs, or even new photographs, and you are looking for a good home for those, or you have those at your house and they're just sitting in a closet, consider making a donation of those to the archives so that we can utilize to better preserve and share the history of our community. We also look for participatory history. So individuals that want to come in to look at those unidentified photographs to better understand those or provide some more of that contextual information. We also invite you to support us by conducting research. So research is really what we're all about here. We're able to help individuals who are researching some type of history or story in our community. So we encourage you to support us by doing that research, and then the research that you conduct helps then the community better understand the stories from our area. So by conducting that research, you're able to take the materials that we have and then share that better with the community. And also support us by attending programs like this or other items or other events that are coming up. So, for example, we regularly conduct a Black History Month program in February, Women's History Month program in March. We participate in the Shenandoah County Heritage Day in April. And then, of course, next year, we're a major player in the 250th commemoration of Shenandoah County's founding, which will have several signature events designed to promote who we are and who we've been in our past. So we definitely invite you to stay tuned for those, keep an eye out, and support us and all the other local history organizations by coming out to those programs. So if you're ever interested or have any additional questions, here are some great ways that you can contact us or access some additional resources. So the first of those is our website, which is countylib.org/local-history. And if you go to that, or you just go to the Shenandoah County Library homepage, which is countylib.org, and click on the local history tab, you can learn more about things like our hours, some of those guidelines that we have for use, ways that you can contact us, and what you need to do to prepare for a visit here. Or if you're interested in donating something, there's information on there that'll help you with that. You can also visit our digital collections at archives.countylib.org. There's over 3,000, closing in on 4,000 digitized items there that you can look at to better understand the history of our community from wherever you're at. We also maintain a website called shenandoahstories.org, which is a collection of brief stories about local history sites. There's about 400 of those. And if you go to that website, you'll be able to see the history of various places in your community, the community as a whole, take specific tours, search for various themes in the county. So really learn about a lot of historic sites that we have. You can also give us a call at 540-984-8200. And if you just ask for me, then I'll be happy to help you with any questions that you have and be able to set you up with a research appointment if you want to come in to learn more. You can also email me at zhoddle@countylib.org. And again, I'm happy to answer any of the questions that you have. So I'd like to thank you for joining us for this program, the Truban Archives in the Community. Hope you learned a little bit about the ways that we work with the community to better understand our area's past, and also how the community can kind of support us to fulfill our mission. So hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and have a wonderful day.